I don't know where, but.
Come on, I hear you, service.
Good sense enough to do what?
All right, I'd like to call the regular meeting of the Town of Abingdon Planning Commission meeting to order. We'd like to have a roll call for attendance first of all, please.
Mr. Wilson?
Here.
Ms. Reeves? Here. Mr. Humphries?
Here.
Mr. Schuman?
Here.
Mr. Austin?
Here.
No quorum.
All right, thank you very much. First of all, we'd like to welcome Scott Wilson, as new member of the Planning Commission tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Austin.
Thank you very much for being here with us. We appreciate the expertise that you can bring to the commission, and I think that'll be very, very helpful to us.
Thank you.
Thank you for your willingness to do that. Next on our agenda tonight is approval of minutes. We have the meeting of May the 22nd minutes, which have been supplied to you. You've had an opportunity to review those. Are there any additions or corrections? You have it?
The May 22nd.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Meeting was canceled.
Cancel.
Then we don't have them.
Well, then I move we approve those minutes.
Thank you very much. Next on our agenda tonight is entrance quarter certificate of appropriateness. Tammy Coleman, Ralph L. and Jean B. Price, owner, 343 East Main Street here in Abingdon. Application for a certificate of appropriateness for exterior change, driveway and parking area, demolition and grounds and landscaping. So someone give us an overview of this, and then we'll invite either Ms. Coleman or Mr. Price, or Ms. Price to come up and address it.
They're proposing a major facade improvement, and they're gonna keep the canopy there, add some green space. We do have some staff recommendations as far as their entrance and exits. But I think you can tell by the rendering that it's definitely an improvement of the current situation.
Yeah, I think he's talking about Potter opticians as opposed to
Well,
the.
no, he's talking about this one, Ken.
Yeah.
Here's the Campbell, it's the Campbell Route prices right here.
Mhm.
You wanna
Yeah,
pull it
but-
up?
Yeah.
He's talking about a facade, I mean, this is a total rebuild, is it not?
It's an exterior change, and an internal, remodel. The exterior, nothing's being demoed outside of the building, it's just the exterior is, being new color. They're replacing some of the windows. I think reworking the way that the bathrooms are located. But as far as, and then they're, the tanks that are there for the gas station will be filled, per DEQ.
DEQ got the option to fill or remove, and they chose to fill.
Okay. All right, is there anyone here who'd like to speak to that?
It's Campbell is the person who'll be doing the remodeling, and she'll come up and discuss it. Ms. Coleman is the POA for the price.
Very good, thank you.
So we are hoping to put a retail renovation type store in this building. It will get a facelift. We want to keep the look of the building, replace the garage doors with new garage doors, replace the glass with a tempered glass storefront. Leave the canopy below that, add green space, and then make the parking lot a little better as far as accessibility and entrance on and off of Main Street. The bathroom change will be, right now it's the exterior bathrooms that are typical of a gas station, so we will absorb those so that you enter those from the inside. Of course, add HV and AC into the interior.
And you don't currently have tenants for it, it's just a rebuild with the intent to find tenants?
We are purchasing the property from
Okay.
the owners. We are
Okay.
set to close on that on Friday.
I see, thank you.
And those would be the color choices that we had chose. I didn't know if that you needed to see those for approval or not. But the main building will just be kind of that light taupe with some black bordering and then a little bit of color on the logo.
Well, looks beautiful.
We're excited.
Members of the planning commission have questions?
My only question is, the floodplain doesn't matter because it's not a residence, right? We're not worried about the
Well,
first floor or anything.
no, they're not doing anything outside the existing structure. And per the flood hazard district ordinance that we have, their remodel costs are less than half of the market value. So there's no requirements under the flood district, because they're not placing anything outside the existing footprint.
And that was one reason we spoke extensively with DEQ about the tanks. We felt like the in-place closure would cause less disruption to the area, especially to the creek. So that's what we
Right.
chose to.
So they're just filled with sand?
Yeah.
Just,
However they
However they
however it's
require
filled,
the
yeah.
DEQ to fill them.
okay, thank you.
Have you been over with the staff the considerations that they have made, such as the entrances being defined, standard curb and guttering, things along those
We
lines?
have done, the architect firm did the site plan for us,
Mhm.
and they have been made aware of those changes.
And you have no problems with any of the staff recommendations that
Not
have
at
been
all.
shown to us?
No.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions?
There it is. I don't have any questions. I was just looking at what, I just wanted to make sure that The other things were addressed, I saw we just did the entrances are to be defined, and Matthew, and I was talking to Mr. Boswell, and he was saying that as you look at your map on that property, the right side would be a dedicated entrance, and then the left side would be the exit, so it'd be a one in, one out, which would be a much better improvement than what we've had there. And then, of course, you mentioned the guttering. Also, what about that says any paved area within the flood must be blocked as vehicular entrance to the site. Methods should be considered in a manner that does not cause obstruction to the flood zone, i.e. portable planters or anything like that. So was there anything that was listed that would originally have disturbed any of that?
I can describe, if we look at the aerial here, you can see the delineation of the flood district here.
Mm-hmm.
And this is just currently all asphalt across the entire entrance. So we'd like for them to define it with curb and gutter and VDOT standard entrances with, I think we recommend either a 24-foot wide two-way in and out on this side and a 12-foot wide exit, or their option to do a 24-foot entrance here or a 12-foot entrance. But at this point, we would like their curb to taper down to the asphalt as to not create any additional obstruction within the floodplain. And then, because there is still going to be some asphalt here, we would like for that to be barricaded in some way that doesn't cause an obstruction. Does that make sense? So that the entrance is better defined, or the exit is.
Okay, and then a couple other questions. I don't see where it says about the canopy being removed. I'm sure it will be. So where the canopy is located right now, is there a plan to put anything in a delineation of that sidewalk, such as planters or anything like that?
Actually, not.
We were hoping to retain the canopy if that was
Oh, okay.
be approved, and do a green space under that will adjoin with the green space on the other side of the sidewalk. Just kind
Go
of.
back to that.
Yeah. Yeah, I see that now. For some reason, I thought that's probably a sign.
Yeah, well, that's what it was an area.
Right. Yeah.
I have a question. How do we tie the curb and gutter, since there's not an existing gutter on the left side of the property, how do we tie the new curb and gutter into that?
There is existing gutter on
there
that, yeah, right here, and it was listed on the site plan.
Sorry, I missed it.
Sorry, right here.
Uh-huh.
This existing concrete curb, we would, just an extension of it and then create the entrance, exactly. And it would line up with the existing curb that's there, and it's, over the years has been paved, so it's, it's.
Okay, I wasn't aware
It's
it.
pretty low, but
It's hard to see.
It's there.
So,
Okay.
so how will you, I mean, other than some type of visual aid, how will you make that a dedicated exit without most of the, on dedicated exits, that actually it's turned in? Will you turn that in, or pitch that to where that you can only exit through there?
Do you wanna, Matt?
If I understand it correctly, I would not try to do the pitch, because it would still be, even though it would be exit only, you can still exit in either direction.
Right.
So it's not like it's a right out only. It's
Okay.
still an exit only.
Gotcha.
It's not a right out only.
I got you.
So it'd still be, it would just have to be signed properly instead of having the pork chop.
What'd you call it?
Pork chop.
Off the better
I love it when they get technical. And then the last question I have is, where's the red maple?
The red maple is right here. And on the rendering, it showed it. According to the code, you can't place, that's considered a shade tree or an ornamental tree, and it can't be placed in the public right of way without town manager's approval. They're using it to meet the requirement for shade tree for parking spaces. So it was just a staff recommendation that it be relocated as to not be placed in a right of way for its size.
Okay, now, where's the sidewalk in relation to that?
Well, here's the back of the right of way. There is no sidewalk in this area.
I was just wondering, being on the tree commission planted a lot of those trees, a lot of trees. And that might be a tree commission tree, and that might be something you need to address also, Kevin.
It's new, it's a
Is it
new
new?
plant, yeah.
They put that in?
Well, that's for.
I mean, what
that's
about
what
Ralph to put that in when we're trying to sell that building? I mean, I just, Kevin Sigmund, I mean, we put a bunch of trees into there, that's why, I mean, it's kind of.
As far as I know, it's not there. They're planning to plant one.
Oh,
there.
okay, oh, well, I got you, I got
asking
you.
them.
Yeah.
Not to plant that.
Not to plant
no
there,
problem,
but
no
plant
problem.
They can plant it, just can't plant it. Not-
Well, they can't do that.
Well,
Right, yes.
All right.
Any other questions? Thank you very much. I'd be pleased to entertain any motions in regards to the certificate of appropriateness request that we have.
I move that, excuse me, I move that we accept the certificate of appropriateness with the understanding that all of the recommendations from Mr. Vinsel to Mr. Bundy be done as requested.
All right. Second to that motion.
I'll second that.
All right, any additional discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next on our agenda tonight is entrance quarter, certificate of appropriateness. Potter Girls Properties owner, 274 and 276 West Main Street here in Abingdon. Application for a certificate of appropriateness for an exterior change. Could you give us an overview of this, please?
Yes, sir. They're proposing a significant facade change, color, pattern will change. They're gonna be coloring the awning different color there. They also proposed a signage change, but I think she is actually not happy with the sign that she has chosen, and they want to go something a little different. But it's all exterior facade change. We don't have any staff recommendations, I think there's one.
Is there,
No, I was just thinking, go ahead.
I was wanting to know, is this part of the facade improvement program that's being put on by Main Street or not?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And so that was, who did your design?
Frazier.
Yes.
Would you like to address this? You're welcome to if you'd like.
We don't have any problem with it except the sign that they drew up, and we're working with, 2 sign companies right now. And if you, like, just to get an idea of what we're looking at to do something like this, and I will bring you, before we do anything, but we're looking at, to make it antique-ish, make it cool looking. And right now, we're in the midst of getting designs and that sort of thing. So that's kind of what we're looking at the sign. The sign there we don't like, but we're wanting something real cool. Other than that, we just want it to look better. This painting is coming off, and I'm tired of looking at the graffiti on the side of the wall. The skunk has gotta go. The other thing I'd like to ask too is, the sidewalk is cracking right at when we go up to that little ramp, there's pieces of brick coming up, and I know people are tripping over it. And then we've got a manhole right there, big cracks there. Is that our responsibility to fix that? Because I had a little man, his cane went into that crack the other day and about fell. So that's something I wanted to know. Is that our expense, or is that something that I just need to report to the town?
That is not your expense, I mean, that's something you could report to the town. And you will, Jamie, or you, Jason, you want to handle that?
I'll be able to see.
Okay.
Now, the maintenance of the sidewalk, keep it clean or treat it.
Oh, we do that, keep the safe fell off.
That's your responsibility as far as the overall structure of that.
Anyone have any questions for her? So we can keep keep our record straight, would you state your full name and address so that we'll have it for our record here, please?
Christine Potter Davidson, 276 West Main Street, Abingdon, 24210.
Thank you so much. All right, any discussion regarding this certificate of appropriateness request? Are there any motions in regards to it?
If there is no objection, I'll move that we accept this as presented.
All right, second to that.
Second.
Any additional discussion? All in favor, say aye. And opposed? All right, thank you so
Okay,
much.
one more thing.
Yes.
Because there's another motion, I think, within this because of the sign. So do we want to give staff the okay to go ahead and approve the sign? That it's been kind of past
Yeah, that makes sense.
okay. So I will move that we, once the sign comes back, that staff can handle the approval of that.
That way you won't have to wait and come back to another planning commission.
Okay, so,
As much fun as it is.
oh, I'm having one.
Yeah.
You can work with me and
Second.
Tyler.
Second, Mr. Schuman seconded that motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? All right, that'll take care of that too.
Great.
Mr. Chairman, one quick thing, you know, the facade improvement program is being done jointly by the Economic Development Authority and and Main Street Abingdon. Of course, Ms. Montgomery left, but I can tell you that the applications and the approval process is going forward without, you know, with the board basically of Main Street Abingdon doing that. They've finalized an application process, and that application was reviewed by both me on behalf of the EDA and also Tanya Triplett, who had some suggestions. So that all is ongoing, even though Ms. Montgomery is no longer with, she's moved to a different job.
Can you just try to get that plug in for the Economic Development Authority right there?
Well,
It's
I
gonna be,
feel
it's really gonna play, I think, be a significant player as we go forward, and we're really happy about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one thing we're trying to do as an authority is to do some things, you know, instead of just meeting, you do give us a budget, we ought to use it for something.
Entertainment expense.
There you go.
All right, next on our agenda, this is the opportunity for anyone who desires or wishes to address the members of the Planning Commission. Your comments are limited to a maximum of 3 minutes per speaker. And at this time, I would open the floor up to anyone who would desire to address the Planning Commission. All right, next on the agenda are updates from staff and Planning Commission members. Does the Commission, any of the members have any updates? Gentlemen, do you have any updates for us?
Not this time, sir.
All right. Any other, yes, ma'am?
How are things going with code enforcement now?
We're going, we're busy. We're still busy. Trying to do both, can be a challenge at times,
I was
but,
wondering about that.
yeah, but, it's kind of actually slacked off
I
a bit. No, I'm talking about as far as complaints go.
yeah, I understand watch it, because it'll be double complaints now.
I
Don't
jinxed
wanna
myself.
Jinx yourself, that's, yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Mayor Moore, you said, boy, it's gonna be a short night tonight, it was like 11 o'clock every time.
But it's going well, thank you for asking me.
Our next meeting is scheduled for July the 24th at 5:30 here in the Arthur Campbell Room. Is there a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting?
So moved.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.